For more information regarding the local impact of the Bay Area wildfires here in Cupertino, please visit cupertino.org/2020fires.
Hi, my name is Mark Brunton. I'm the Operations Section Chief for CAL Fire Incident Management Team 3, and this will be the final briefing for the CZU Lightning Complex. So we'll get right into the events for the day. So again, we've had more work in the Battalion Park area, still the area of the greatest workload in our entire incident and for the coming days. So we've had crews working in there today. Also on the Highway 9 corridor, just completing a lot of the line and the mop up in that area. So those are two areas that we'll be doing a lot of work. And some more work still in the Bonnie Dune area, which has been a constant amount of work for us because of the amount of homes in there and the way the fire burned through there. Originally, just a lot of work to be done. So moving forward in the coming days, even when Team 3 transitions back to the San Mateo Santa Cruz unit, we have the plan in place as part of that transition, and we will be constantly working without skipping a beat on those areas and providing the resources to accommodate that need. So we did see a lot of activity as far as with the public because the holiday weekend, so a lot of traffic on the Highway 1, Highway 9 corridor. That caused us, our folks, to have some concerns for some safety, just be more aware because more people out there, and so everything from driving and so forth, because a lot of people are paying attention to what the fire's doing, and especially our aircraft flying, they just had to be cautious. So if you're out there, please be aware of that and use your due diligence when you're driving in those areas that we still may be working. Again, our aircraft were flying all day today. The weather was very conducive, so we had another great day of using our aircraft and dropped a lot of water. We're dropping, as of to right now, about 150, 160,000 gallons of water, which is quite a bit, especially this stage of the game, but they're supporting our resources that are on the ground, as well as the hot spots interior of the fire. And with that hot and dry weather, we did have a lot of smokes popping back up as we were expecting and have been expecting. And our resources have been prepared to mitigate those issues with their efforts, and they're doing a great job with that. So it's been a constant thing that we see. Over the next couple days, we will be seeing some weather changing. It will be cooling down, and the relative humidity coming up a little bit marine layer, but the big challenge is going to be north winds, and we're going to be seeing not as bad here in the Santa Cruz area, but definitely in other parts of the state. We are looking at the conditions where there are significant north winds that are going to be occurring in other parts of the state. There's been a number of fires pop up throughout, mainly in Southern California, but also today, a pretty good sized one in Mendocino County that's popped up, and we're expecting even more in the next day or two, not only with the hot and dry temperatures, but also with the winds that we're expecting. So department-wide, we're very vigilant. We're getting to a drawdown point with that, and that's just due to the fact that all these fires and the few resources that we have scattered throughout the state. Also with our incident management teams, Team 3, like I said, is going to be transitioning out and back to the local unit. And so after Wednesday, Team 3 will be moving on, and we may be deployed elsewhere within the state, or at least our members going back to their home units, going back to work. And so we'll see what transpires from that and go from there. But definitely leaving the fire in the capable hands of the local unit, and they'll just continue on with the work ahead. So we just want everybody to be prepared moving forward. We are early in the fire season still, even though it's September. You're already seeing the weather that we're seeing. Long-range forecasts, the best that they can be, are looking at very dry and potential windy fall, which concerns us, and then even into the winter. So what we do ask is please be safe. Please think before you're doing anything in the outdoors that could start a fire. Take the time when you have an opportunity to do your defensible space moving forward in the future, because that did make a difference in the case of this incident. For those people that did their defensible space, it did save their homes, it helped us save the homes. So just be cognizant of that moving forward. And then if we get into the rainy season with the potential for any slides that could occur based on the fires and so forth, and just be ready, like we say, the ready, set, go, and look online to the CAL FIRE's website. That whole idea, the concept, is good no matter whether it's wildland season or the winter. Just be prepared is the thing to do, and moving forward. So that's kind of where we're at now, and definitely a lot better than we've been about 3 weeks ago when we started this and giving updates throughout. I just know that we're in a much better place, and hopefully everybody's back at home. We've done our best to get everybody back there. There's still a few folks that are going to be in the process of getting back to their homes, and wish everybody the best. It's been a privilege for Team 3 to serve the community, and for the privilege for me to be the voice for the team, and also for the over 2,000 men and women that we had at one point fighting the fire and serving the public here. We thank you very much, and for your help and your diligence in that. And then we're all moving back into our day jobs. I'm going to be going back to my unit, the El Dorado unit. I work in El Dorado County, and so we're ready for the rest of the fire season, and most likely our team will be deployed elsewhere in the state, and hopefully in a good way we don't have to see you again. But we thank you for everything that the community has done for us. We really appreciate that.
Chief, how long have you been in the fire service?
34 years.
Okay, and Director Tom Porter just came out with some new numbers today, and he said that this year has burned more acres than that horrible fire year of 2018. So in your 34 years, what have you seen for California? I mean, are the wildfire seasons getting longer? They're getting worse? Tell us in your professional opinion.
Yeah, I think in my years of doing that, when I started off being young, I thought, getting on a fire that was, a couple thousand acres, I thought, it's not, boy, that's huge. That's going to be a career. I'm never going to see anything like that. And I think that's been something that I've said, unfortunately, time and again, is, that's the worst one I've ever see, most destructive I'm ever going to see. And I don't know, you call it global warming, you call it whatever change, and whatever it is, something's changed. I think that it's not that we've gotten worse at firefighting. I'd hope to think we aren't. I think we're becoming even better. There's more technologies. There's all these tools that we have available to us. We definitely have a more robust staffing than we ever have in our department, which has been very helpful. I know in my years I've seen a tremendous upswing in that. That's been helpful. But the conditions are very different. And we were just talking with my operations partners today. Fires are burning different than they are. They are taking off. They're very explosive. They're fast moving. So that's, again, where we've had to look differently on how we fight the fires, and then preparing for it. Like I've said, having your physical space, be prepared that when we ask to evacuate that you're ready to go, and it helps us along. So it's been getting worse. I hope it doesn't get worse. I know, I think I mentioned this before, in my career, on the 10 most destructive fires in California's history, I've been in the operations section on 7 of those 10. And kind of a dubious distinction, but it's one of those things that never, and talking to people that have been doing this a long time, very few people can say that they've seen that. And most of those fires have happened probably in the last 10 years. So that just tells you there is a trend, there's something changing, there's something different that we're seeing in fires, and they are becoming more frequent and more destructive, unfortunately. And
is part of that just because there are more people living in the WUI?
I think that has a huge part of it. I mean, if you look over, say a 20-year period of time, and if you looked at the demographics of people that, what the population was in these WUI, the wildland urban interface, or more wildland areas, there are more of them. I think a lot of people, that's why they like California, because of the climate, and they want to get away. They want to live in an area where it's not urbanized, and they live in the forest. They live up in the mountains and the foothills and so forth. And I mean, I'm certainly one of them. I live in the foothills and enjoy that rural area. But with that comes some dangers, and you have to take care of what you're doing when you're out recreating or doing just your day-to-day stuff around the house that can potentially cause a fire. You have to be very conscious of that. And then also be prepared that if a fire starts, what you need to do to make yourself safe, and to, when it's time to leave, so that we can do our job, and then you can stay safe. So I think that there's a definite increase in the amount of people out there, and that is part of the reasons that we're seeing the fires.
One thing that we saw at the beginning of this fire is there were people who lived out in the hills, and for whatever reason, whatever was going on at that time, they didn't have power. They didn't have access to their cell phones weren't working, and so how can people protect themselves if they're living, in the dark and there's a fire that breaks out nearby? And what's your advice for those people?
Yeah, it's just, like I was saying earlier, you have to be vigilant when you live, and that's kind of part of your responsibility when you do move and live into those areas, is that you have to be self-reliant. You don't have all the creature comforts that you do in an urbanized setting. Some people want that, and that's what they like. They live like kind of, we call living off the grid, and that's fine. But you just have to be prepared to have some sort of communications so that you can receive word when these things happen, and that you can take the appropriate actions, and so that also your family members know that you're okay when it is time and you do have to get out. So yeah, we do experience this quite a bit, and sometimes even with the power outages because of the public safety shutdowns. So again, it's just a preparation. Be prepared. The point of something that I never thought that you'd have to do is like have your own home generator to power your home, so that you have the power when that it goes out, so that you have the way to communicate and be aware if a fire's starting near you.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Any advice for the people of this community? Because this might be something we're dealing with more, especially now. We might have some rain and some mudslides. Who knows yet? Of course, we're going to stay on top of it. But what's your advice?
Yeah, it's the advice I could say is, is basically this. What I learned at a young age is, when I was in Boy Scouts, is the motto for Boy Scouts: be prepared. And I can't stress that enough. I think that's probably the best thing to do, is just be prepared. Be prepared for anything. You're in the state of California, a wonderful place, but I call it the state of disaster, because there's everything here. I mean, we've got fires, we've got floods, we've got earthquakes, we've got mudslides, you name it. Great place to live, but we do see these things on a regular basis. So just having that preparation, planning for it with you, your family, and just having those plans to get out when you need to get out. What you can do to prepare for, like I said, defensible space, that kind of stuff, is be prepared for those issues, because you never know what Mother Nature is going to throw you in this state. And
one final word of advice?
That I promise you, CAL FIRE will fight fire like champions for you.
Thank you.
Sure.
For more information regarding the local impact of the Bay Area wildfires here in Cupertino, please visit cupertino.org/2020fires.